Hello, your brother here, Nathaniel bassey, and I've got something very important to share with you. A few weeks back, I was reading the scriptures and I came across the story of David. Remember David when he was bringing forth the Ark of the Covenant from the house of Obed-Edom. You know the story, I guess. A guy called Uzzah had tried to steady the ark, but God broke out on him. He died. That distressed David, it upset him, and he sent the ark away to a man's house called Obed-Edom. Obed-Edom was later blessed. The ark was there for 3 months or 90 days. Hearing that, David sent for the ark. But this time, he deployed the right protocol. And I found something very interesting. When the ark was on the shoulders of the priest who bore the ark, they took 6 steps, and after 6 steps, they made a sacrifice to God. And it just occurred to me that very shortly we would have taken 6 months into the year, six major, strides into the year. It's been very interesting, an interesting year, one we've never seen before, especially in our nation and around the world. There's been wars, there's been hostilities, but in all of that, God has been good. God has been good. So I thought it's very, good to gather God's people around the world. Just call for a convocation of praise where, we would come together like Hebrews 13 verse 15 says, by him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to God continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. So this is a New Testament compliant revelation. And Jesus, the Lamb, the Passover Lamb, is that great sacrifice. And the Bible says, by him. So we're going to be gathered on the 1st of July at the very junction of the second half of the year, Wednesday, 6 p.m. at the Glitz Event Center, where we offer to God the sacrifice of praise. I mean, what's a sacrifice of praise? A sacrifice of praise is what it is. It's a praise that is done when it's really not convenient. And if there was a time that is not convenient to do so in our nation, it would be now. But I know that there's something powerful about the sacrifice if offered correctly. So we're calling for a national and global day of praise called the sacrifice of praise, where number one, we give thanks for the first 6 steps, like the priest did, first 6 steps, in this case, first 6 months, okay, and right at the beginning of the second half. Number two, we raise prophetic intercession ahead of the second half of the year, trusting God that, He would end the year well with us. And the Bible says that the path of the just is a shining light and shines brighter and brighter, you know, until the perfect day. And it says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And like Psalms 50 verse 4 says, okay, to call forth God's people, who have made, a covenant, with Him by sacrifice. So I'm calling out to you, reaching out to you I don't know how many of us can fit into Glitz Event Center, perhaps 3 to 4 thousand, but much more than sitting in a physical space. I'm trusting God that you will join from around the world. So this is more than a praise session. This is a prophetic meeting. So mark your calendars. If you're around Lagos, Lekki, Axis, then make your way to the Glitz Event Center after you have registered. Okay, so you would have to read the caption and do as instructed. Okay, I'm trusting God that something powerful will be birthed from this meeting. And finally, um, if if you are in Nigeria and you realize that we've gone through some of the most severe times in our history, nation's history, where we have children being abducted, people killed and maimed, and it seems like it wouldn't be the right time for this. But then we call this a sacrifice of praise, knowing that as we raise a cry, to heaven and we intercede at this altar, that the Lord will hear us from heaven and he will turn the tide. I'm trusting God that as we get into the second half, something will turn for our nation and the nations of the earth. So make it a date, July 1st, July 1st, July 1st, 6 p.m. West African time, that's Nigerian time, and let's gather together to raise a worthy sacrifice to our God. God bless you. Bye bye.